Okay, this is a video. It's going to be abbreviated, but I'm trying to focus on helping you on your paper, just in case anything I said in class today you're forgetting. This is kind of a reminder. So one thing, if you go to the Module 2 letter response, there's lots of resources here. You got the prompt, you got the essay samples, and the resources. Um, if you click on, you go to resources, you can click on essay prompt, MLA format, works cited, instructions for how to create a works cited. We did that in class, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. Same thing with MLA. This is all the grammar stuff, so if you want to remind yourself of what you need to know for the grammar portion, and then, or what kind of mistakes to avoid. And then finally, the essay samples. If you go to the prompt, one thing that is really the most important thing you should remember is this one here. Do not argue the issue that's presented in the article rather. Argue whether or not the article is good, how it uses ethos, pathos, logos, structure, the evidence, diction, syntax, that kind of stuff. That's all we talked about today in class. So, we talk about that stuff for a reason. The other thing is, make sure you respond to an article from a major newspaper and from an op-ed. And I checked most of them in class, but some of you weren't in class today. So if you write a paper about an article from a newspaper, a news article, not a opinion article, then you're going to have to redo it. Like, that's not the assignment, right? Or you could take a 0, but why would you do that? And there'll be penalties, as far as grades go. So those are the two most important things. I also have a suggested outline here, which I did update from the last time we talked about this paper. And then the other thing that I think would be really helpful, I need to put up I'll put up this self-review check sheet, especially if you were not in class. But I'll put this on the page here. It's just not up right now. But this is what I went over in class, and there's specific examples of all these things in the sample essay. So if you click here for sample essays, go down to the bottom. The last two are the good ones. And so, like if you look here at greeting, author title, clear thesis, what are your body paragraph arguments going to look like? They're all right here, right? You have your Braithwaite has persuaded me to believe this, so it's a good article. It's based on why is it good? It's because of logos, diction, syntax, and ethos. Those are the three things that are going to turn into body paragraphs that this author is going to write about, this writer is going to write about later on. And then as far as body paragraphs, do we have a clear topic sentence? Yes. Throughout Braithwaite's article, she includes logos, right? So this is what the whole first body paragraph is going to focus on, is her use of logos. This also has a how to quote. This quote is done properly. Make sure you do that. And then the main thing when you're writing your body paragraphs is focusing on the quote and explaining how does the quote show that, for example, in this paper this paragraph, she's looking at logos. How does the quote show a good use of logos? Explain how logos is used there. Explain why it's so effective. And then you go to your next body paragraph. She's going to talk about diction and syntax. She's going to use her quote to talk about why the diction and syntax were done so well. How is it effective? How is it convincing? And then finally, what's the last part? Ethos. Yeah. And she has a quote where it's going to, she's going to talk about how ethos is built up there, how her, she's someone you could trust based on what she writes. Okay. And then we wrap it up. I don't have it here, but if you go to, it says does not have to be very long. This is the place where you talk about the issue and how important or unimportant it is. And then your paper, the sample, it says, I think it is important. She does exactly that. Make sure you sign it like a letter, sincerely, student's name. And then don't forget that there are explanations of what makes these paragraphs so good, or these sample essays so good or bad. Okay. If you just follow these guidelines, I think you should be okay. If you want to bring me a draft, do so Wednesday or Thursday or Monday. I'm not going to be in class on Friday. I'm going to be out absent. So, all right. Well, that was short, but I hope it was useful. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Okay. Thanks.